have been faithful throughout the years since time began. Sovereign King, able to save and keep this wretched man who made in his arms. Ufalme na mamlaka yako Bwana, ndio maana nakutegemea mwaminifu. You are faithful till the end. On your word I shall depend.
The university students, we had called all constituent colleges, all campuses. So we met at the grounds, playground there, where now there's a graduation square. We were going for prayers. And for true, we were going for prayers. Mimi had my Gideon's Bible. Other people's had God, hymnals and what have you. We were actually going to pray. But the government had another idea. Police were all over and they were lying. They were lying on their belly. And all of them were dressed in black. So we are going to worship. We've not seen the police. The moment we started singing one hymn, I have never seen that beating. Police surrounded us and they beat students senseless. Serious beating. We were falling on each other. Now you need to look for an escape route. And I remember missing a rungu by a whisker. I saw a rungu coming on my head. Then I fell. Now it hit somebody. I don't know who hit. I got some energy to run after some guys. Chiromo Forest was a real Chiromo Forest. We went through the forest, not knowing where we were.
You were going.
And as you are going, you are also umekula at tear gas. When it was all done, we heard that the university had been, over the radio, but university had been indefinitely closed. But many guys had broken limbs. 2 people died. Two young men died. One I remember was coming from Bosiasio Port. And I actually went, me and a few other comrades, we went and buried him. From that time, I stopped student politics.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Pulpit podcast. This is episode 21. My name is Tracy Nyambura and I'm happy to be here again on your screen as we are as Beyond the Pulpit every Thursday. Every Thursday at 5 p.m. We always release a new episode. So episode 21, that means we've been doing this for 21 weeks, consistently giving you a fresh episode, a new guest, new stories, kila wiki. And we are growing, like we've seen the growth since episode 1. Tulianza na microphones, sijui zinakaaje. And here we are, now we even have sponsors. I mean, you see the growth, and that is because you are subscribing. I hope you're watching and you've subscribed. You're commenting, you're sharing, you're following us on our social media pages. I'm assuming that by the time you're listening to this part, kama uko umesubscribe, umefinya your button because it's only just 1 second. It takes nothing. It takes zero energy to just subscribe. Thank you. When you subscribe, asante sana. So, thank you so much for the feedback that we've been getting in all the episodes, episode 20, there's a video that is doing still very well nani last year. So thank you. Thank you to Hodari for sponsoring us with the seats. I know you're doing wonders. I know you're doing some good job with our studio. Our studio is almost done. I think the next episode of Beyond the Pulpit and any other show will be in our new studios. I'm so excited. I am super excited to now have our own studios, professional studios that will also be commercial. It will be open to you, our audience, to anyone who has a podcast. Anyone who sings and wants to just sing your heart out, we can give you a platform. We can give you equipment for that. We can talk about the charges much later. So today's episode is very exciting. First and foremost, co-host wangu wa Red Pill amesema anifuate huku pia. Amesema Red Pill, okay. Tukuje beyond the pulpit pia. Hi Silas.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
You know the last time you were here you were a guest at Beyond the Pulpit.
Yes.
Na Red Pill wewe ni co-host.
I'm excited.
You're excited. The conversation on this side is a bit different. I know you know this.
Yes.
Leo wewe utakuwa interviewer, not interviewee. So
but a bit more silent. I'm like in a silent movie.
Yeah. Okay. So it will be allowed. So karibu sana. This is Beyond the Pulpit.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you as my co-host today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's see if maybe unaweza endelea na kazi. Acha nina kuvet leo. Leo uko vetting tuone kama unaweza endelea na hii kazi. Our guest today is Jeckoness Donge. He's known to as Deacon Donge to most of us who worship at KWBC, and we are here to get to know about him. Nimeongea na yeye, and this man is a man with a lot of information and a lot of wisdom to share. He says he is passionate about the youth. He is passionate about work ethics at work. So we are going to get to know that. All right. Nilimwambia aniambie venye ninafaa kumintroduce. He said he's a scholar. He's a counselor. He's a, I don't know if I can say, an agricultural economist. Lakini, because I will not do his introduction justice, I will just allow him to introduce himself. So, hi. Ninasikia weird kukuita Jeckoness. Hi, Deacon Donge.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Karibu sana to our set.
Asante.
It is exciting to have you here.
Asante.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and introduce yourself, and then now, sitauliza maswali. After you introduce yourself, let's get into where Donge grew up.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Jeckoness Donge. Jeckoness Donge, just like you've heard in a small intro, I am an agricultural economist. I studied economics at my bachelor's degree level at University of Nairobi. Then later on, I went to Canada. I studied agricultural economics, where I got a Bachelor of Science, and at the University of Guelph, in a small town called Guelph in Ottawa. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Your titles, the ones you're saying, you're a counselor, you are a scholar.
Okay. When I came out of university, my main reason of studying economics was to change people's socio-economic welfare indicators. That was my main drive. Their poverty was there. I thought maybe if I do economics, I would come out and advise the government on the best policies to prescribe for people so that they could improve on their socio-economic welfare indicators. So I studied economics. Then I started agricultural economics. Then where I now do a lot of training, and sometimes after I come out from training, people ask me, apart from training, are you a counselor? Apart from being a counselor, are you a pastor? So I am an agricultural economist doing capacity building, and I also come out as a counselor, and then I come out as a pastor. So when I talk to you, after about 1 hour, you can choose which side.
A man of many hats, for sure. For sure. Okay, so where did Jeckoness Donge grow up? How is your family setting?
Okay, I come from Kisumu County, in a small village, Miwani. But I know most people don't know Miwani, but I want to believe that some people know Ahero. Ahero is our biggest shopping center. So that's where I was born. I was born in 1962, to be precise, on 27th of June. And I grew up in that village setup until the time I did my KCP. That is when I left the village. So that is basically where I've lived. And then my father was a polygamist. My father had 3 wives, in fact 4 wives, but one died before I was born. So I grew up with 3 mothers. Out of the 4 wives, my father managed to get 30 children. 30 children. So,
Never known this.
30 children.
You have 29 siblings.
Yeah, 29 siblings. Yeah, so we grew up in a polygamous family. My father knew how to manage polygamy. We grew up not even knowing. Okay, we knew who our mothers were, but we could eat everywhere. We could go to every house and eat. Our mothers I never had my mother's quarrel. If they did it behind the curtains. We never got to know the issues we normally hear about, co-wives fighting, blah blah blah. No. So growing up in such a big family had its challenges. My father was working in Miwani Sugar Factory as a mechanic, but on top of that, he was also farming, sugarcane farming. So out of the farming, he would get money to take us to school. But one thing that I really remember is during food time, we used to scramble. Food, the three mothers would bring food, and then we would not even pray. We would just go at it. And one of the funniest experiences I had, which I'll come back to later, I'd gone to Form 1. Then I came back after the schools were closed. So I was giving a story. Little did I know that during supper or lunchtime, people do only one thing, eating. So I'm here giving a story. I just picked ugali once. When I took my hand again to the plate, there was nothing. Guys were sweating, me I was not sweating. So later on they told my friend, when we are here, we do one thing at a time. We come here to eat.
Biashara ni moja peke yake.
Eat. Yeah, wow. So I think that is my upbringing. Four mothers, one died when we were still very young. Three, I grew up with the three. I still have one mother. My real mom was the third wife. Okay. And you know, Luos normally, if you lose your wife, the family of that lady can bring a lady to stand in for the children from that mother. So what happened? My mother actually came. That mother of mine, the second mom, died 3 months after she gave birth. She gave birth to only one child. Okay. So there was a small girl. So my mother came in to look after her because the one who died was her sister, the follower, the one she was following.
Blood sister.
Blood sister. As we marry blood sisters.
Wife inheritance kind of thing?
It's not wife inheritance.
Oh, wait, I'm having this confused.
Why am I hearing this for the first time?
What was and what is still there, although it's to a limited extent, if I marry, God forbid, and my wife dies, the family of my wife can give me one of their daughters to become my wife, to ensure that the children from this lady who has died are not mistreated. The reasoning was another woman will mistreat these children, but this lady, since there's some blood relation, when she comes to look after these babies, even as she gets hers, there will be no mistreatment. So that's how my mom came in, and she came in as from the story I hear, she came in as a small girl, initially to look after this baby, and at some stage, my father decided to take more cows. So she became a wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many siblings from your mother?
My mother got 11. And out of the 11, 2 died. So 2 died early. So 9 wali grow. Then 2 more died. So now we are 7.
You know, in this generation, that is whatever you're saying right now is actually our minds cannot even fathom.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, 11.
7. Wow.
11.
Our generation says one is already a crowd.
One is already
one is a crowd. So I think we should be advised.
That's one of the reasons why I really, to date, I don't know whether we'll ever forget to respect my mom. I've told you that I do consultancy. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
But I almost find myself talking about my late mom. Until one day during tea break, a lady approached me and asked me, how does your wife feel when you keep on talking about your mother and you rarely mention her? Then my response is, all the examples where I bring my mom, they are relevant. I give examples relevant to the position of my mom. So rarely does my wife feature in those examples.
Conversations,
But yes, mothers must be respected.
And then that is amazing. To raise 11 kids is not a joke.
And you also have your late
From
sister's
the- yeah,
children.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it was tough, but we managed. Yeah, my
Yeah,
father
okay.
was hardworking,
Yeah.
and then my mothers were also hardworking. Yeah.
Also, props to the Donge. So, father, 30 children, feeding 30 children, 3 wives.
30,
Yo.
30.
Wow.
And why I also respect that Mzee, every end of term, all the adult children would become farm laborers.
Oh,
We would, my
Ile
father
shamba
would wake up
yake.
and would wake us up at 5 a.m. Kila mtu na jembe. You go to weed. The first 2 weeks is for that. Then the last 2 weeks, he releases us now. He says, now you can wash, prepare as you go back to
Do your assignments.
yes, as you go back to school because sugarcane farming. If you don't have proper clothes, there are
injured.
scratches.
Yeah.
There are scratches. You are scratched all over, and you start scratching your body. I remember one day somebody met us when we were from the farm. We were dirty. You know, you go to the farm very early. Dew is still there. So you come there. You are wet. You are dirty. So somebody met us and asked us, why is your father punishing you people like this? Because all our schoolmates were not doing this. But I think my father was training us about becoming responsible people.
Yeah.
And one thing that my father used to do, a week two, going back to school, we would have a kamkunji.
All children.
Yes,
All at
the ones who are
the
in
older-
secondary.
yeah.
He would ask us, what's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? And one thing that has remained in my mind, my father died in 32 years ago. One thing that has remained in my mind, there's one day he told us, get it from me, none of you will be chased away from school because of lack of school fees.
wow.
Wow.
And I can testify that none of my sisters and brothers was chased away from school. Anybody who did not make it, he or she did not make it because they didn't put effort. But anybody who put effort, my father broke his back to ensure
That you've got it.
that we went to school. I give him credit through and through.
Yeah, that's sisi. That is
Wow.
sisi.
Yeah.
That he did a wonderful job.
Yeah, with that large
Wow.
family, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so I think primary school, you've already figured that you've gone to primary school.
I went to primary school. I did my KCP in 1975. I got very good grades. I went to Nakuru High School to do Form 1 to Form 4. 1976 to 79. But I need to say something here. We need to talk to our children as they choose schools or as they choose colleges,
Okay.
because it really cost me a lot. This Nakuru High School, I didn't know anything about it. Nobody in that school had ever gone to Nakuru High School. So I chose Nakuru High School as a normal school. But when the letter of invitation came, I saw gumboots, I saw
Requirements.
overalls. No, they'll be supplied.
Oh.
These ones will be supplied. You only. The school was very good, a very good national school. In fact, you could even carry your box, your suitcase, almost empty. The school was providing almost
Everything.
everything. It was a very good school.
Okay.
And when I went to Nakuru High School, 98% of staff were Wazungu. It was a former colonial school. Most it was used by settlers. So majority of the teachers were Wazungu, but they started leaving one by one. So I went to Nakuru High School, did my 4 years there, did my O-levels. Then I went to Thick High School, where I did my Form 5 and Form 6.
Okay.
Yes. And then after that, I did Form 6 in 1981. So 82 and 82 I was at home. I was supposed to join university. My group was supposed to join university in October 1982. But there was a coup.
Yes.
Oh, I remember.
And that coup made Moi got so mad, he closed university for 14 good months. The longest closure in the history of university education ever was 14 months, and it was due to this coup that took place. And why Moi was mad, when the coup happened, University of Nairobi students came out in large numbers on the streets,
yes.
celebrating that they were supporting the coup. So I think the government was very
Yes.
annoyed. So we stayed at home 2 years instead of 1 year.
Wow.
So during that time, I became a teacher, an untrained teacher in a Rambe school in my village. So I would ride my bicycle in the morning and then come back in the evening. And I'm glad that when I went there as a teacher, the school was very bad, was very poor. But for the first time in 1983, the 1983 Form 4, the school produced 2 students who made it to university. And I'm not proud myself, but the team that was there worked so hard. And even when we left in October to go to campus, when these students did exams, 2 of them passed very well, and they joined University of Nairobi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Form 6 done, then I qualified and went to University of Nairobi. University of Nairobi in 1983 to 1986. I did a Bachelor's of Arts in Economics.
Pure economics.
Pure economics. At the university, there was this combination. You could do combination 311. 311 means first year you do 3 subjects. Then if you excel very well in one, then now you specialize in that one. So I did 3 subjects in year 1. Then year 2 and year 3, I specialized only in economics. So when you come out, depending on the quality of the degree you get, you can be called a professional economist, or you'll go for there used to be another degree, a diploma, Bachelor of Philosophy in Economics. You do a diploma for you now to be recognized as an economist.
Okay.
Yeah, that time, for you to join the civil service as an economist, you must have gotten upper division, 2nd class. So I got that, came out, got a job in the Ministry of Finance as an economist 1.
Maybe to ask, when Dr. Mwangi was here, he said that it was very automatic when once you pass and you finish your university, you get directly
A job to the,
a
in the
job
government.
directly.
Yeah.
Was that the case with you?
That was the case. In fact, during 3rd year, a lot of companies would come to start shopping.
Ah.
He said that.
He's actually, yes.
Yes, a lot of companies would come shopping around, and they would use the previous results to recruit.
Previous, how?
Like now,
Previous year.
first year,
Oh,
second
okay,
year.
okay.
If you're doing 3 years, they use first year, second year.
year.
If you're doing 4 years, they use first year, second year, third year.
Ah.
And out of that, a lot of people got jobs before they
Even
did their final
finished.
exams.
Oh, wow.
It was easy, and especially if you worked hard in school. By that time, even those people who got passes would get jobs.
Even a pass will get
Even
a
a
job.
pass would get a job. It was so easy. Getting to campus was an uphill task. Because there was only one university, University of Nairobi, and there was a college. KU was a college.
At the time.
Yeah, it was a constituent college of University of Nairobi. So their degrees were conferred from the University of Nairobi. So there was only one university. Competition was tight.
Very.
Yes,
I can imagine.
and as you are, especially when you did Form 4 and you got Division 1, your names would appear in the newspaper.
Ah.
Yeah, those who did Form 6, the names would appear, and it was great. Yani, your name has appeared in a national newspaper.
You would be very proud.
Very proud.
To live
very
in such
proud,
times,
very
what?
proud. So for me, my life in primary, my life in secondary for O levels, my life in Thick High School when I did my A levels, my life at the University of Nairobi where I did 3 years. Superb.
So you don't relate to our current situation where university is checking 600,000 graduates and 60% of them are going to be
Jobless.
Just yesterday when we were talking before coming here, I was in Kerugoya. I was training new recruits, fresh university graduates who have been employed as marketing officers or account assistant officers. And I was telling them one thing, that during our time, if you came out with a degree, it was a degree. Because for us, the lecturer would come, do his lectures, then after that, there was a tutorial fella. During our time, anybody with masters could not be a lecturer. He was a tutorial fella. So you come from the lecturer who was a PhD or is a professor, then you come down to this tutorial fella. Now you fine tune what the lecturer taught you.
Just taught. Wow.
The current setup, there's nothing like that. The pupils are too many, and it is mass production. It is like mass production. So
quantity over quality.
Unless now you, the student, you know what took you to school.
Yes.
Then you'll just pass. It's just like in a production unit, gunia zinapita tu utajikuta uko pande ile but
Hakuna kitu
very little. So yeah, that our time was good. Jobs were guaranteed, and not just jobs, they were good. They were good jobs.
Working in the government immediately or even while in uni.
Yeah. And also now, especially if you got second class, upper division, straight, you got the best jobs. I remember most students would get 3 jobs. Now unachagua where do I go to?
Kuna offer letter tatu. You're spoiled for choice. To live in such times.
Yeah.
Gen Zs can't relate. Gen Zs cannot relate.
Things have changed
a lot.
But one thing that really disheartens me, as we continue to count years after independence, everything is falling apart.
Yeah.
I visited University of Nairobi the other day. Okay, when I joined University of Nairobi, I stayed in Hall 3. Can still remember Hall 3. Currently, Hall 3 is being used as a dispensary for first floor. Then I went to Hall 10 for second year and third year. But I looked at the windows. The window panes are broken. I looked at the curtains. Curtains are broken. Then I compared University of Nairobi and University of Guelph in Canada. The University of Guelph is 100 years old, but it's like it was constructed yesterday.
Wow.
When the university administration gets money for infrastructure development, they use it for that. But here, when we get money, we eat it.
We eat first, then we'll ask ourselves, what do we use this money for later?
Ile imebaki sasa tunafanyia.
Yeah, that thing really irritates me.
Wow. So you said you got a job immediately.
Yes.
After campus.
After campus.
And then at what point did you join University of
Guelph? Okay. What happened? I got a job with the government in 1987, January, as economist 1. The scheme of service was such that the scheme of service for economists, for you to be considered a professional economist, you are to get second class upper division. So I joined the government as a professional. But at that entry level, I was called economist 1. There was economist 1. No, economist 2. At entry was economist 2. Then after 3 years, you get promoted. You become an economist 1. Then you become a senior economist. Then you become a chief economist. Then now you become head. You become a director.
Okay.
So I was in government. I joined in 1987. I worked in government. Then luck fell on me. There was a government scholarship by Canadian University. So a few government employees got the scholarship. I was one of them.
Oh wow.
So I went to University of Guelph, which is in Guelph, a small town, not very far from Toronto. I loved the environment in Guelph because it was a town like a village. Haikuwa na watu wengi. So well planned, beautiful. I enjoyed my near 3 years there.
So when you say village, you're not talking about our villages.
No.
Think about
What I mean by village is the population is small. There are no skyscrapers.
It's homes.
It is homes.
Wow.
And then the lawns are well made. Vehicles are not very many. Things like that. The place is quiet. Yeah. Toronto is chaos. Building ghorofa ni kila mahali, and they are very high.
Yeah.
Vehicles are too many. There's a lot of noise. Yeah. So
1987.
1987.
That's when you went.
1987 is when I got
job.
my first job.
Okay.
I went to Canada in 1990 October 1990.
After 3 years.
Yes, October 1990. I went to Canada, and I did. I was supposed to have done 2 years, but because it was a scholarship, we devised ways of staying longer.
Kuna semester utamiss.
No, sio kumiss. Yani, okay, there are some classwork you are to finish within 1 year, but now your thesis was supposed to take another 1 year.
Okay.
So hapo kwa thesis, the people were taking their
Unaongeza.
time. But the scholarship was very good because after finishing the coursework, all African students were supposed to come back to their countries. But before coming, you are to develop your area of study. And your area of study was meant to address an economic problem back home. So me, I chose access to credit among small-scale farmers. I wanted to address the issue of credit advancement to small-scale farmers, because at the time, banks were not taking small-scale farmers seriously. In fact, they were thought to be a loss-making entity. So no bank would give them loans. So that was a problem. So I developed a concept. I did literature review. Then once the professor was happy, now we know what we know the problem we want to address. Now go home and collect data.
Okay.
So data collection used to take 6 months, but expenses were fully paid.
Everything.
Your airfare, your stipend was still given.
You were given a
Wait,
stipend.
unapatiwa scholarship na stipend?
Yes. Over that time, it was 900 Canadian dollars.
Hey, you guys enjoyed life, eh?
Surely.
Hey, you enjoyed life.
It was sweet. Oh, sweet.
Unapatiwa, wanakusomesha and they're giving you a stipend. They're paying you. It's like they're paying you to study.
Yes. You know.
Can we have such scholarships now?
You know, when I went, I was already a working person. So, and even when I got the scholarship, the government was still paying me 80%
Of your salary?
yes into my account, because most of us had families. So how does your wife and your children?
Oh, at this point you're married?
I'm married with one kid.
Okay.
I can say also when I went, I joined the Ministry of Finance, and in 1987, January 5th. I'm still very clear about that. And then there was this issue. My mother wanted me to marry like yesterday. She kept on pressurizing me. She kept on telling me, Nairobi women, I don't want Nairobi women. Nairobi women will destroy you, will spoil you. So a number of times I would go home and I find ladies have been arranged that I should get married to. And the kind of lady my mom really wanted me to marry was a teacher. And the reason was the teacher would not leave the village. So she will stay with mom.
And be monitored.
Yes. So me, I'm working in Nairobi, blah, blah. But so because of this pressure, in 1988, 2 years after leaving college, I found myself looking for a lady seriously. I got a job in 87. I lived in a room around about for 6 months. Then I moved to Car West in October 1987. And I shopped around for church. The first church I went to was Car West Baptist Church. And I've never left it.
87.
Yes, as a young man, single, but there's a lot of pressure at home. I need to get married. I didn't join the choir. I would see some ladies there, wako safi, but I was not in the choir.
Na praise and worship.
Yeah, then I'm not known here.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to marry a Luo. My mother wanted me to marry a Luo.
Okay.
During our time, intertribal marriages were like a taboo.
Yeah.
Really?
Your village would not hear of it.
Really?
So I remember I told my wife this thing one day. She almost cried. When I was in Oruma roundabout, there was a small church, Assemblies of God. There the church was small. I actually got a lady from Ukambani, a good lady. But when I told my mother I wanted to marry Amkamba, it was like hell broke loose. So since I was a mother's boy, maybe I'll come to that later on. Out of all her children, I was the one she loved most. And the reason was, her first 4 kids were boys. Girls came later. So my mother, because after going to the farm, she's going to do some business, kwa shops, kwa market, she needed somebody to take care of the house. So I was like the house boy. I would go fetch water, I would clean the house, I would cook, and I would also fetch firewood. I was doing them not through coercion. I just felt I needed to support mom. And out of that, she developed a special liking for me. And I did not let her down. But one thing that I found, I always want to advise parents, and let nobody cheat you. If you have more than one child, kuna moja, utampenda sana. But don't show it. As a parent, try as much as possible not to show openly that this is your most favorite. Sometimes it is difficult. Itakuja too. Like for my mom, how my siblings got to know about it, she would buy mandazi and keep it.
Oh.
Keep it.
So zimewekwa kando.
Yeah, so we would eat, then we are disposed to go and sleep. Then at around 9, she comes to call me. Hii kitu uliweka wapi? I keep on telling you blah blah blah. It's like she's quarreling.
Yeah.
But she's not quarreling.
No, she's not.
So I come, I tell her, iko where? Iko in that place. Come and show me. So when I come, she gives me that knife. Kula hapa.
Hakuna kona.
Then when I'm going there, I've wiped my lips like I don't know what. Then I even grab and say, Mom, kwani mama ananisumbua? Kumbe
hiyo mandazi koko imepita tu kwa ulimi.
But one day, siku ya mwezi ya 40. One day, one of my brothers tiptoed and followed behind and found me eating mandazi with tea.
At night.
He saw and went back. I think my mother saw the guys annoyed. So I think the following day akamuita akamwambia, the reason why I'm doing this is because your brother does more than what you people do. So if you want me to treat you like that, support him.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
So I went to Canada. Did my first year, did my coursework, came back to collect data. Then after 6 months, I went back. But something happened. During the 6 months, my wife conceived.
Okay.
So I went back abroad when my wife was 4 months pregnant. When I came back, my daughter had been born.
Oh.
Beryl. Do you know Beryl?
Yeah, we know Beryl.
Beryl was born when I was in Canada. I came back and found a 3-month-old girl. But I met her in a very funny environment. When I came back, I had not completed, I had not defended my cases. My father had died when I was in Canada.
Oh.
And the scholarship was such that if you lost a spouse or a parent or a child, you'll get a ticket to and fro. So, yes. So I got the information. I was lucky because that time there were no mobile phones. So, but I'd left my telephone number here. So that time, at around midnight, it was around 8 a.m. here. So I got a call, and it's my wife who called. The same day that your father has passed on. The following day, I contacted the Kenyan embassy because the scholarships were arranged through the embassy. So they asked me when is the burial. So they bought me a ticket from Ottawa to Heathrow, from Heathrow to Nairobi, from Nairobi to Kisumu.
Wow.
I didn't
All
even
expensive.
I didn't even come to my house here. I went straight. That day, I arrived on Friday. Is the day the body of my dad was being removed from the mortuary. But since I had money, I took a taxi from the airport to home. Nikafika home around 9 when people were getting ready to go and collect my father's body. So I actually participated in the burial the following day. And that's also the day, this Friday, is when I was seeing Beryl for the first time. She was 3 months old.
Wow.
So there was joy and there was also pain.
And they were supporting you
Fully.
The
Right?
ticket.
Nowadays,
Yes.
if that happens, you're on your own.
Yes. The ticket was and they arranged it so that you drop at Heathrow, kuna ndege unapanda. You drop Nairobi, kuna ndege unapanda. And then they also, since it was a return ticket, also from Kisumu back
Nairobi.
to university, but Nairobi, Heathrow, Ottawa, then also from Ottawa, then Guelph up to. Then you drop and you find a van waiting for you.
Hey, wow.
Then you are driven up to collect.
You were a very important man.
What a beautiful life it was.
That was VIP
Back
treatment.
then, that's VIP treatment. What do you mean? You can't find that right now.
But one thing I regret, I regret coming back to Kenya a lot
Why is that?
because I've been wasted. Yes.
The bachelors,
You see, the problem
Basic.
was that time that we didn't have so many people with masters. So you come back, you find a guy with bachelors or a guy who does not have a degree, he wants to sit on you. Somebody just assumed that umekuja hapa na masters, ati umetoka ng'ambo, wacha tu tukuone. But the main reason why I regret, when I came back, there was uzembe. I had this notion I wanted to do my PhD. I kept on postponing. All my colleagues who came from West Africa, nobody went back. And they are now serious professors. Anybody from West Africa just wants to get out. Once they get out, there's no coming.
there's no turning
back. And you see what they do. There's unity among West Africans that is not in Kenya. So what they do, if me and Silas go, the first thing we do after 6 months is to plan how Silas' wife should join. Then next, how my wife should join. So what they do, they pull their finances we pull our finances into your account so that it reads something good, which you send, when you send a statement back to the embassy, they will say you can support your wife for the first 6 months before she gets something to do. Kenyans don't do that. So West Africans, the moment you get out, kukuja ni kuja kusalamia watu. And they study. So I think that's the only one regret that I have, because one thing you people don't know, I qualify to be the president of the Republic of Kenya.
Yeah.
I have the age, I have the education, I have the exposure. But as we are now, I cannot even be an MCA. Because for you to be an MCA, you must have at least 5 million to bribe people. I don't have that. Yes.
Masema qualifications za masomo. The MCAs, the people sitting in our parliament are not educated. Well, they are, but well. So after you buried your father, you went back to Canada to defend now your thesis.
Yeah, after I buried my dad, I took 2 weeks off.
Oh, so you were home.
So I came back to Nairobi with my wife and my 2 children now. Because when I went to Canada, I had left my wife with 1 child. Mordecai was 15 months old when I left. He was just beginning to know dad, blah, 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 yeah. So I came here, rested kidogo for a week or so, then I flew back.
For how long?
Canada. now for 6 months. I was supposed to have done 3 months, but I said, since they're paying stipend, what's the big deal? Because basically when I was coming back, my thesis was almost done. What the professors were doing were now going through it. They make correction. They tell me, correct this, correct this, correct this, correct this. Yeah. And one thing that I give Canadian lecturers a credit, you hand in your work. Before you know it, it's returned to you, thoroughly worked on.
Oh.
Here in Kenya, you look after professors.
Mtafutana, utapiga simu.
How do you do? Them they want to finish their work on time.
Very fast.
When they unaweza dilidali. But I miss those guys. Work ethics, which I'll talk about
yes,
later. Yeah.
what I can see is just the difference between Canada and Kenya. The systems work hours.
We are worlds apart.
Hours question marks. And this is in 1990.
1990.
2025 kuna student bado hajapatiwa project marks.
Na missing marks.
Na missing marks ushinde umepigia lecturer na kwambia umpatie 500 ya fare ndo akuje shule. Anyway, we've been told these things. I am not even joking. I am not even joking. Lecturer anakuambia hana fare ama umweke fuel. Ndo akuja kupatia marks zako. Marks zako that you worked for.
Kuja kuweke kwa system.
Anakuambia nipatie 2,000 ya fuel. Okay. So now let's get into agricultural economics. I know someone is wondering, what is this? I've never heard of it. I also never heard of it until I spoke to Deacon Donge. So give us the details of what an agricultural economist does.
Okay. Like I told you earlier, my first degree was economics. And I joined the ministry, I joined finance, but placed in economic planning department. And one of the areas I dealt with was agriculture. We were developing policies for agriculture. So when I was looking for a master's degree subject to go and do, I said I want to do agricultural economics. So agricultural economics is basically economics. You do a lot of economic papers. Then there are some specific papers that are agriculture based. So agricultural economics is the study of agriculture with an economic bias. You look at agriculture as something that makes money. So you are not. I was not an agronomist. I was just an economist. But I wanted now to specialize in how can you do agriculture to make money. How can you do agriculture as a business? So you study economics courses, but then there are some courses specifically on agriculture, but not agronomy. There are subjects that talk about the economics of that agriculture. Yeah.
Okay.
So once I got it, now the question was, so what do you want to do with it? So remember, I don't know whether I mentioned this, I was doing agriculture economics with a bias towards rural development.
Yes.
My quest was, how can our rural communities do agriculture as a business? How can they use agriculture to improve? Number one, they take their children to school, they build better houses, they dress well, they eat well, then they also build nice houses. And if they fall sick, they can go to hospital. How can agriculture be used as a business, an income-generating business?
Also, now that you've asked that, I'm curious, is it you trying to find ways to help the rural farmers to earn money? Does it have anything to do with how you grew up, how your father did business, agriculture? Is it tied to that?
It is not tied to that, but I think when I was in the university, that is when the issue of poverty struck me.
With farmers?
Yes. One thing you might not know, I was involved in student politics. I was born
at University of Nairobi?
At University of Nairobi. And that time, the student politics was against oppression by the elites. And one of the people who are oppressed were the farmers. They were not getting fair returns for their produce. And one thing that I remember, was in 1985. We had one of the worst university riots or demonstration. We woke up in the morning, and as we were going for breakfast, I don't know how some students get to know. Some students had gotten to know that the university leadership had been expelled, and they had been ordered to leave, to vacate campus. So we are going for breakfast, and they are all posters all over. We are not going home. The students, the leaders are not going home. They should stay put. Then I did the most unthinkable. After breakfast, all students gathered at the university office. It used to be the graduation square before the graduation was moved to the fields. University, the graduation was just up a main office, so we used to call it graduation square. So students had gathered there, a table had been put there, and nobody was willing to address them. So I just shot from nowhere, and I stood up and said, "Communist power, communist power." Then I said, "We will not accept this." So then I made a request. I made a suggestion. Can you give me 2 students? We go to Professor Mbiti's office to demand to know why they have expelled our colleagues. So we made way. We went there and found 2 terrified secretaries. I still remember. Then I asked, "Where is Professor Mbiti?" Then she told me Professor Mbiti is in Mr. Nyachai's office. That time, Nyachai was the second most powerful man after Moi. Simeon Nyachai.
Okay.
So at the Professor Mbiti. So, that one really enraged us. How do you expel students and then you run to Nyachai's office? So that one told us that the government was deeply involved. So, another stupid thing that I did, I told the secretary, "Put me on. I want to talk to Professor Mbiti."
Okay.
Because you see, the secretaries were terrified. The students were yelling out there. They're waiting for us here to go and give them information where Professor Mbiti is. In fact, they sent us to go and drag him from the office and bring him to come and address them.
Wow.
So then she puts me through. "Hello, you are who? Professor Mbiti, VC. We are giving you 10 minutes to come and address us. Otherwise, the university will be on fire."
You're
giving
you are giving the
our VC sitting in the office of the second most powerful man in the Republic of Kenya. That time Nyachai was Nyachai. Simeon Nyachai was Nyachai.
I really do not, as a Gen Z, I do not
That
know.
was a serious risk.
So I come back and climb the table. Communist power. Communist power. Do you know what? Professor Mbiti is in Nyachai's office right now. Hell broke loose. All the students crossed to the road. Now they are blocking the cars. They are marching to Nyachai's office. But I think the government was aware. So a few people who crossed found the police.
It was already barricaded.
Yes.
Okay.
So the police beat us back to college. Then, see, we were scattered all over.
Yeah.
We went for lunch. We came back.
Same thing.
No, there's a memo. The university decision stands. These people should talk to us outside the campus, not within. I climbed the table again. At the communist power. Do you know what? Professor Mbiti is adamant that he's not going to change his. Then people went to the road again. But that night, some 3 comrades came to my room and they asked me, "Donge, how rich is your father?" I said, "My father is not rich." "Then if you are expelled from this university, where will you get money to go abroad to complete your degree course?" I stopped. From that time, nobody saw me in student politics. But the university was finally closed and everybody sent home to report to the chiefs like we used to do. But now, reporting to the chief, information had circulated. So me, I'm going to the chief and I'm like, "We kijana, tulikupeleka huko some ama kuleta fujo." Do you want us to tell your father about this? So, but after about 3 months, we went back. I think that is the worst mistake I did when I was in campus. But what saved me, I was very tiny. I was very
in
skinny.
stature?
Yes.
Really?
I was very skinny. Sasa watu wanaona hii ni nini?
Huyu anatuambia comrade power.
Sasa hii hata polisi akishika hii kuna kitu. So this guy will die before we torture him.
Hata hawezi.
Yeah, so this day, to cut a long story short, the university students, we had called all constituent colleges, all campuses. So we met at the grounds, playground there, where now there's a graduation square. We were going for prayers. And for true, we were going for prayers. Mimi had my Gideon's Bible. Other people's had God. I've had God hymnals and what have you. We were actually going to pray. But the government had another idea. Police were all over and they were lying. They were lying on their belly. And all of them were dressed in black. So we are going to worship. We've not seen the police. The moment we started singing one hymn, I have never seen that beating. Police surrounded us and they beat students senseless. Serious beating. We were falling on each other. Now you need to look for an escape route. And I remember missing a rungu by a whisker. I saw a rungu coming on my head. Then I fell. Now it hit somebody. I don't know who hit. I got some energy to run after some guys. Chiromo Forest was a real Chiromo Forest. We went through the forest not knowing where we were.
You're going.
And as you are going, you are also umekula hata tear gas. When it was all done, we heard that the university had been, over the radio, but university had been indefinitely closed. But many guys had broken limbs. 2 people died. Two young men died. One I remember was coming from Bosiasio Port. And I actually went, me and a few other comrades, we went and buried him. From that time, I stopped student politics. I finished my course, 1986, and
You've never gone back to student politics.
And were you ever called by the administration now? Because you talked to the chief.
And threatened the VC.
You threatened the VC.
Yes, I've never been scared. There are some students who decided to commandeer a university land robber. They were going to find out why KU students were still going on with lectures. Yet we are struggling.
It's a comrade
This is a
effort.
comrade effort. You guys, was elite.
Mnaendelea na shule, sisi tuna strike. Tunapigania haki.
Intelligence was very tight. By the time they reached Ruiru, they were intercepted. Na walikuwa wamejaza hii Land Rover. And it was one student who was driving it. So inaenda hivi. I wanted to board that vehicle. But ilijaa.
Oh, okay.
But all the people were arrested and charged in court. Now, when the case went to court, so the police were giving evidence that some of you actually went to the VC's office, threatened the secretary. That time, my heart is beating like because I thought they were going to come for me. They never came. And when we were called back, I didn't get an expulsion letter.
Those guys took the fall.
Yeah.
Those guys, the guys who are arrested now, it was assumed that one or two of them or 3 of them must have been those. Tell us who among you went to the VCs
and threatened him. Oh no.
Yeah, so I came back. I just lied low.
Ukatulia.
Finished my course. You see, those 3 comrades who came to my room and asked me, how rich is your dad? That thing struck me. Because I knew some university students, leaders who had left, who had been expelled, they managed to get out of the country. But if your father is a nobody, who will pay for you? So that is my university life.
That was a
It's
quick
very
reality
difficult.
check.
When you're doing any revolution, you must be someone who has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you must be someone who has nothing to. If you have something to lose, it's very dangerous.
Don't do it.
Yes, or you must be ready to lose everything. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lesson learned. Msiende strike kama baba yako hayuko kwa serikali ama hamna pesa. Don't do it.
And I thank God that since 1985, all the strikes at the campus have been lukewarm.
Nothing as big as that.
The worst was 1985.
Okay. You were saying that at the time you're in the university, you could see that the rural farmers were going through oppression.
Yes.
So what was this like? What is this oppression that you're talking about?
The oppression was, I saw farmers working so hard, but there was nothing to talk about. Their lives were not being changed. And they were working so hard. And then I got to know that one of the ways to increase productivity was through access to cheap credit, which they were not accessing. So I really wanted to come up with policies which could help them to get access to
The
credit. So when after coming back from Canada, see now I have my master's.
Yes.
Then there was a job that was advertised. The title of the job was Rural Banking Specialist. I said, this is what I have always wanted. I saw the word rural. And then there's also one course in my coursework. There's one course I took that was on international rural development. I said I want to employ those. I want to use those concepts through this job.
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself, but I've not gotten the job. So the job was with the Swedish Cooperative Center, but it was domiciled in Cooperative Bank.
Okay.
So they had their accounts in Cooperative Bank. So the logo through the advertisement was Cooperative Bank, but the main employer was Swedish Cooperative Center. So they called me for this interview, and I went. So one of the requirements for one to get the job was you must have had a valid driving license for 2 years. I had never owned a car. I had never driven.
You're just from Canada.
Yeah, so after the interview, they tell me, you've done well, but you have failed in one aspect. You're not a driver.
Is that it?
But we will give you the job.
Oh.
Wow.
We'll give the job on condition that in 2 months you'll have gone to the driving school, you'll have gotten your license. In the 2 months, we are going to give you a driver. See, I told you the job is rural banking specialist. So you have an office, but most of your work is in the rural areas. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And it was a very.
How old were you at this time?
This is 19. This is now 90. This is the year 95. 95 from 62.
62. That's 33.
Is that 33?
Around there.
Yeah.
Around there. So
At 33, you had a driver. You
Hey.
see now,
Are you
I am
being
asking
chauffeured?
myself.
yes, I was.
You're being chauffeured around.
And I was not driving a small car.
Ah,
I was
yeah.
driving a Prado.
You were
At
given
33.
a
I
Prado
was given
was
a Prado because that was the project vehicle. You know you are going to
Machinery,
yes. So I was given a driver from head office for 2 months. But within 1.5 months, I'd known how to drive. I'd gotten my driving license. So he would train me. The other 2 weeks, he trained me. He trained me. But he was a bad driver.
It was a bad driver.
Yeah, he was drinking.
Oh.
So one day he took the vehicle. Kumbe easy, that's the time easy pombes packets were coming. Were coming
I
in.
remember
So me have a driver here. Kumbe huyu jamaa amesipiki. So when we are on our way, I'm seeing his driving is not good.
Okay.
I asked him, are you sick? I am not sick. Okay. Can you pull off kidogo? Upumzike. So I took the key and I sat there. I told him, sit there. The good thing, I was not driving a long distance. So we went, I did my work, came back. From that time, I said, I'm releasing this guy. And I'm asking God to protect me on the road.
I will learn on the job.
I will learn on the job. And the rules were such that this project vehicle should never be out by 7 p.m. So I was told, if you are in a place, ask yourself, where is the nearest hotel? The nearest good, safe hotel. So count the hours and make sure you're there not later than
7.
7 p.m.
Yeah, I hear that time guys who work in government were being arrested, by the way.
Of
If
course.
a government vehicle is on the road,
Past 7
past 7, yes, you would be
Arrested
stopped
by
by the
who?
cops.
by the cops.
Why?
That's
You're
the
not
rule.
Is the rule.
The
You're not
vehicle
supposed
should
to be with a government vehicle on the road.
And then the other thing was, if you ever get an accident, anytime past 7, you'll take full responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so since there was that portfolio of sleeping anywhere, as long as the hotel was good, why would I struggle?
Yeah. There's
Why
no
would I
need.
struggle?
Yeah.
I would just plan my work and work backwards. Yes.
Okay.
So you're talking about the farmers, how they
Yes.
oppress. So when I got this job, rural banking specialist, I had specific instructions. I was told go to every village where you find people doing an economic activity, bring them and form a cooperative society. The purpose of a cooperative society was now the produce would not be sold at individual level. You are a farmer, you are a farmer, you are a farmer. So if you're a milk producer, if you're a tea farmer, if you're a sugarcane farmer, you deliver your produce through a cooperative society. So now the cooperative society was there to market for you, so that you have one voice, so that you could have a good price. So I was given that mandate, and I was posted to Rift Valley. Rift Valley is vast.
Yeah.
But I sat down with the local leaders. I asked them, what do people do here? I asked them through the chiefs if they could assemble people. Then I started forming cooperative societies. Then later, once they had financial muscle, we would move into a circle. Now a circle is now when the produce is sold through the cooperative society, the money goes to the circle and every farmer opens an account. So the purpose of the circle was to help farmers save. It was now savings. You save, then you get credit. So through the savings, they would get loans to plow back into their farming activities. And the interest rates in circles was much lower than banks. So this thing had solved one problem. Now farmers could have access to credit. They could now increase their production, acreage. They could now use fertilizer, buy inputs. They could, instead of using plowing using their hands, they would now hire tractors. So farm production went up. But that created another problem, marketing. All of a sudden, there's a lot of production. And processing capacity is limited. So where do farmers take their produce? All of a sudden, they needed transport. Tractors, kama ni maize, kama ni maziwa, kama ni tea. So through their cooperative societies, they would buy trucks. Iwasaidie to transport. Now the only problem was the glut, the production. That one must now be controlled by the government. And the only way the government could control is stop importation, or if it is milk, now turn the milk, the liquid milk into powder when there's mass production. So that later on when there's drought, you can now use this powder, you change it into liquid, then you sell it into the market.
You can do that with milk from cows.
Sindio. That is what you see. You transform the milk into powder form. Then powder form you can store for longer. You can store for longer.
The milk zinakuanga bado.
Then now when there's drought, you take it back to the factory. You produce now the liquid milk. So in that case, the farmers were not losing. So my greatest interest was farmers would take their children to school. Farmers would build better houses. Farmers would improve on their nutrition. That was my major agenda. And then we agreed with the circle that any farmer who delivers his produce through the circle should he come or she come for school fees asinyimwe. And that time because people were a bit, I don't know whether unethical or ethical. That time, for you to get money for school fees, you had to bring a fee structure from the school. The check was drawn in the name of the school, direct, so that your child is not chased
sent
away.
home,
Yeah. You see, of today, people are saying, I remember another farmer asking me, huyo mtoto na mtafutia karo, ni mtoto wako? A farmer asked me. Nikamwambia, no, mtoto ni yako. Who pays for him school fees? Is it you or me? Ni wewe. So why, kwa nini unanipimia? Na nani atalipa hiyo loan? Si ni mimi.
So the one they check addressed to?
Now you give them cash. And in most cases, they don't pay the whole fee. After about 3 weeks, mtoto amefukuzwa. But then they say, if you don't give me the money, I'm leaving the circle. After all, there are very many circles. So what do the circles do? They don't release the money to the school.
Or they give the
They give you because when your baba, si mtoto ni wako, si pesa ni yako.
Yeah.
So that was the motivation. I wanted to change the lifestyle of rural dwellers through their farm productivity or production. And it worked. And as I sit here, I am a very happy man. Why do I say I'm happy? Out of the 47 counties, the only county where you will not find my footsteps is Tana River, Wajir, and Isiolo. I have stepped in every county, and every county you go to, out of that leaves about 47, you remove 3, 47. Out of 44, about 35. I started circles that are doing so well.
Started the circles.
Yes.
Nice.
If you go to Bomet, there's a circle there. If you go to Kericho, there's a circle there. If you go to Baringo, there are circles there. If you go to Kisii, there are circles there. If you go to Meru, if you go to Tharaka Nithi, if you go to Kambani, if you go to Coast. And I'm happy because these circles became so strong that they formed what I call front banking operation. You know, nowadays, you can do all your bankings through your circle. A circle, maybe I can educate you kidogo. A circle has got two major departments. One is Bossa. Bossa is back office. Bossa is where now you save and you get credit. Fossa is front office. Front office is like a bank where you save and you can do your banking services. You can save, you can withdraw, you can transfer, you can do blah, blah, blah. And I'm also happy because that Fossa concept, when I was in cooperative bank, I was among the 3 guys who came up with it and rolled it out.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Big things.
Yeah, I'm a very happy man, but I look too small. I say, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm happy because wherever I go, chances are nitakutana na mtu nimefundisha. The day I was in Meru, I was going to train in Meru. So in the evening, I walk into a supermarket because I had not carried toothpaste. So I want to buy toothpaste. So somebody taps me at the back. Mr. Donge, how are you? I turn back. I look at the guy. I don't know him.
Yeah, you can't
So I'm
remember
asking,
him.
excuse me, do I know you? Yes. You are once you have taught me.
Wow.
And there's one thing that I remember you about. You told me to save, get money, and build my house. Now I live in my house. I was extremely excited.
By the way, that impact is so nice, isn't it? How do you feel when you
Get such feedback.
I
and
feel-
you've shared this severally that you meet with guys all over the country.
I feel great. I feel honored. I feel that I've made a change in somebody's life. Another incident was I was in Kisii. I'd just booked into a hotel. A good room because I could afford a good room. At around 7, I get a call from reception. Who is calling? The manager of the hotel. And Mr. Donge, how are you? I want to upgrade your room. I'm asking, it's a lady, I'm asking why. You taught me in Form 4. You taught me in Form 4.
Wow.
That is one thing. That's one thing that teachers, although teachers don't get a fair share of what they've done, apart from the salary, but once in a while you meet guys who can appreciate.
Yeah.
So this lady she was going through those guys who have booked in, and then she sees my name, and then she says, upgrade this guy to a better room, and not just upgrading because I'm not paid. I was going to pay the following day.
Yeah.
You're not paying.
For free.
For free plus the meals,
Yeah.
because I can't give you back what you gave me.
How many teachers?
Very few, very
How
few.
many teachers can get
No.
fired?
Yeah,
Very few.
mwalimu wangu aliniambia
You'll amount to nothing. Kwanza unafaa kumpiga mabare.
He told my father that one day this guy will run away from school and never come back to school again.
Why are you
Yeah, you
struggling?
are.
Why are you struggling?
I was struggling.
So the teacher was right. I mean,
No, but yeah.
no, but he should have been positive.
Yeah.
Yes, it was if it had happened, it would be hata mwalimu alisema.
Because if I was your teacher, I would engage you. I would mark you on two things. Anybody who has got good spoken English and has got a clear mind, that person is trainable.
Yeah.
So you just need to be positive. You just need to encourage him or her, and you will be surprised. Yeah.
I'm curious. You've mentioned the different places that you've set up these circles. The counties that you've worked in.
Yes.
You are an agricultural economist, not an agronomist.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
very clear.
Yes.
And I know that there's a way farming in Tharaka Nithi is different from farming in Coast. So how do you advise these two different farmers in two different areas with different climates to nini? How do you advise them to make their business? Is kusikwe na difference ya farmer ako Tharaka Nithi planting, I don't know, maybe maize. I don't know if it is maize that grows there. I'm just giving examples. And a farmer in Coast, like how do you advise them to treat farming in those areas the same way?
Like I've told you, and you have confirmed that I'm not an agronomist.
Yes.
So I don't know about the quality of soil. I don't know when the rain will come. Blah blah. Mine, as an agricultural economist, mine is to advise the farmer on number one, what are some of the farming techniques, not in detail, that you should apply, but mostly it is about where and how do you market your produce.
Okay.
Where and how do you market your produce, and once the money comes, how do you use it so that it changes your lifestyle. So what I'm majorly doing, I'm encouraging farmers to save. I'm encouraging farmers to consume less. I'm encouraging farmers to think beyond today. And I'm also encouraging farmers to spread their income in such a way that it can take them longer. Let me give you an example about tea. There's tea bonus. Tea bonus comes in October. And it's a lot of money. Most farmers get from 100,000, some even get millions, depending on how big your farm is. But during that time, women from across this country camp in those places for this money. And most people are so vulnerable. There's a day I was in Othaya, and as I was walking in the evening, I had some ladies speaking in the Luo. They were Luos. Then I was very curious. I went there and greeted them in Luo. They thought I was a client. They thought I was a customer. These ladies are prostitutes. They are targeting the income of the farmers.
The tea boom.
The tea farmers, that tea bonus, they target that money. And what do? They get this men, they take them to the pubs, wanaweka mchele kwa kinywaji, wanaiba pesa yao, wanatoroka. I still remember very vividly in Kericho, I advised a certain farmer, he wanted to withdraw the entire amount, 250. And I told him, my friend, just take the amount of money you lose for the week. Do you know what he told me? My child, this money is not yours.
Hey,
And
mind
you see,
your business.
mind your business. And you see me, I'm a banker, I'm working in the bank. I've seen him withdrawing money from the teller, 250, and I was very curious. I moved there to the cubicle and asked me, hii pesa utatumia yote ama you'll use it kidogo kidogo. Kwa nini unaniuliza? He even thought I was a thief. So he told me, leave me alone. Do you know this guy from there, he went to a pub and he got a lady there. Mwenye ameweka lipstick mpaka wapi, ameweka nails mpaka wapi, na skirt amevaa inafika hapa. Mzee anaona anasema wow. That is the day when he woke up the following day, he had only 5,000. That woman was very kind. Alimwacha na 5,000. The rest of the money went. So he wakes up in the morning and he starts screaming. What is it? Ati pesa yangu. So one area which I really emphasize, get the money. Use it kidogo. Money hates a vacuum. What I mean by that, when you have money and you don't commit it, itapotea. So I tell them, this money that you have gotten, part of it, weka kwa either fixed deposit. You know, fixed deposit, you can't walk in and walk out with it. You must give notice. Any money in current account or savings account, that money can go. Can go any time. So I encourage them to save there or to invest in some other thing. So like now, a farmer in cause, I would not tell you grow cotton, grow this, that one I leave it to the Ministry of Agriculture. But mine is now economics of agriculture.
She's smiling because we are doing another section of this podcast called The Red Pill. And I have told her, or we have shared some things in that podcast. Do you know majority of those things came from you? I don't know if you remember.
No, I listened to one of the broker was saying, now, what is wrong with this guy? Now, this guy has turned into a financial advisor. Because I heard you talk about inflation and what have you. I'm saying, okay, people can learn. Even when they...
But is it
no, it's
correct?
true. Very correct. In fact, I listened to it, I say, now I don't even need to go and give a talk on financial management.
You will.
This guy can do it.
He has learnt on the job.
There's an advice I gave of paying your rent should be a third of what you want. I got that from you.
Don't pay more than a third. You can pay less, but don't pay more than a third. If you pay more than a third, like most of the young people are doing, you're wasting yourself.
Utateseka. Okay. Now we've gotten that out of the way about agriculture and the economics, agronomy.
I've told you I'm an agronomist, but we can talk about the economics of agriculture. How does your agriculture empower you economically to eat well, to dress well, to live in a good house, to access good education for your children, and to access medical services? And how can you use that income now as now an employee? This guy gets money, monthly employee. You get money either quarterly or half-yearly. How do you spread your money so that you don't get it today and tomorrow you're broke?
It is something sustainable.
Yes.
Okay. Do you get people who tell you, Donge niko na 200,000 inataka kuingia ukulima? How do I start this and make sure that it is a sustainable business? Do you get?
Yeah, I get side requests, and right now there's a guy who came to me about venturing into tomato business.
Tomato.
Yes, he has done it twice, and he has failed miserably, and to the extent that now they even have an issue with the wife. There's some lump sum money they got somewhere. They sold the property. The man wants $500,000 to invest in potato farming. And twice he has lost miserably. And the reason is he didn't study the market. He needed to have known that tomato business, as it is now, it is a bit flooded. he needed to have known, he needed to have looked for market earlier, like now schools and hospitals where he can supply big portions. And then he needed also to have identified the key market areas where he could go, or aende kwa market apate wale watu wenye wananunua so that they could become his they could come and purchase from the farm. So he went to the farm, he went to farming, and he lost big time. He lost because of two things. Number one, the drought hit badly. Then the second one, it was because of the pests. They hit him badly. And the reason is, he did not even have money to buy pesticide. He just went to kienyeji. So now, he has asked me, what can he do? I've told him, my friend, before you go here, go to at least 3 schools, maybe 1 hospital, where you can get regular market. You can get regular market. And also have access to agronomists in the area who can advise on, number one, the type of seed. They can also advise when to plant. They can also advise what type of fertilizer to use. Don't just go into farming
blindly.
That is one thing. Me as a person, right now I'm also struggling with my wife because she has gone into sugarcane farming. There's kuna kapushon shamba. She went and plowed it. She went and planted seed without telling me. If she had told me, I would have told her the timing was bad. So now we are looking at a loss of over 100,000 gone, washed down the drain. If she had asked me, I would have told her, for sugarcane, don't plant during the short rain. Plant during the long rain. So what she could have done, see now we are in January, we would be preparing the shamba, now ready to plant next month or March. early March. So that when the rains come, we'll have adequate rainfall. So the seedlings will germinate.
Yeah.
I would rather zingine zimekufa kidogo because of a lot of rain, but when the rain subsides kidogo, you can do what we call, okay, kwa Kijaluo tunaita repair, yani you look for a fresh cane, unaweka mahali hazijakuwa nazo. So you get. So timing for agriculture, timing is critical. For agriculture, don't ignore the value of an agronomist. And for agriculture, don't ignore market, where to sell. Because some of the produce don't take long. You need to have an assured market long before you produce. Yes. And then now also, the other problem now in Kenya is corruption. For me to buy from you, what will you give me?
Yeah, kickbacks.
Yes. So if you are thoroughly born again, you'll suffer. You'll suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is all I can say. Basically, how does this farm give you money? And once the money comes, how do you use it to expand your production? And how do you use it to sustain your livelihoods and that of the family today and tomorrow?
Okay. When you were talking earlier, you were talking about middlemen in the agricultural industry. Is there any way there'll come a time where we do not have middlemen, that farmers get what they're supposed to get and not 10 shillings or whatever money that they get from their produce?
I don't think there'll ever come a time when we shall not have middlemen. But I believe there needs to be a time, and that time is now, when the number of middlemen should be significantly reduced. And the only way that it can be done is a government that says what it does. A government that empowers the farmers. Like when I tell you about cooperatives, I am somebody who is so, I totally believe that the best way for Kenya to reduce significantly poverty is to develop SACCOs everywhere. Like now, we need a very strong circle in Car West Market.
Yeah.
Those people who doing business, we need to have a very strong circle that at least at the end of every day, mtu anasave 50, anasave 100, blah blah blah. But now they get the money, they eat. 2 days ago, I went for my hair to be cut. And one thing that I've known, most of these guys who own places where they cut nywele, wanakunywa pombe ya kwa upumbavu. And then they use their little money to look for women around. So I was asking myself, these people, the best way to save them is if they get 500, 200 waweke kwa sako. 300 wengine waweke nyumbani, kidogo wanaweza kujivinjari. As I was driving here, so when I was there, I saw another guy. That kiosk, that kinyosi is owned by a guy from Coast. I know him, not by name. I know him because he has done it. I've got 2 places I go to. That place and another place. So I go here. He's the one who's doing my hair, but there's another guy doing somebody's hair. And I look at him. I'm seeing ini pombe. Wow. I can see. Then today, as I'm driving, and just near the Farmer's Choice roundabout, I see the guy.
The other baba.
Yeah, saa hii ndio anaenda, and I'm saying, because ametoka pande ya Soweto huku pande ya, yeah, so I'm saying, I think I was right. Hii pesa huyu jamaa anapata
Pombe.
ni pombe. So, the best way to help Kenyans is for them to form a cooperative society. Yesterday, when I was talking to those young people, my first question was, have you joined the circle? They've not yet gotten their first salary, but the question was, have you gotten the circle? Because money has got a very funny behavior. The moment it starts getting into the pocket, now unapata ugumu kuiweka. It comes into your wallet 3 months. Sasa ukiambiwa uingie kwa sako, ukiambiwa save, unaona kama your lifestyle will be
different.
Yeah, so the first salary, fungua sako and save. And I was advising them, if you are here and you are single, this is the time to save the most.
Yeah.
If you are here and you are single, this is the time to save the most. Because when the baby start coming, your expenditure will go high. So your capacity to save might not be so much. There's a day I did a memo to the governor of Kisumu, Professor Nyong'o, because cooperatives and circles are doing very badly in Nyanza. Nyanza as a whole.
That is true.
Nyanza as a whole. So there's a day I was in Eldoret. I was going to train another circle, and I passed through a bank, and the bank manager was telling me, Donge, you've done so much for this country in terms of development of cooperatives and circles. What have you done to your people? Now the Luos. He was asking me, what have you done to Luo land? I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed. Not because I've not tried, but kuna kaujuaji hapo, which have not managed to sort out. They don't want to go for training. And if they call you for training, they want to do it for free. Yet they are squandering the money. So the entire Luo Nyanza, I can tell you without any doubt, there's no circle worth talking about.
And
That's sad.
recently I was reading, just in preparation of this episode that we are doing, and I saw that among savers, the people who save money either in banks or circles, that only 10% of the people who are saving have 500,000 and above.
Yeah, it is very sad that majority of savers in circles save only the minimum. And they only save the minimum as required by the circle bylaws. People are not willing to increase their savings unless they are pushed. That is why, for me, the raising of National Social Security Fund fee. I don't want to shout loudly,
Say it as
but
if.
I support.
Yeah.
I support because what it is going to do, it is going to reduce, it's going to take away the money from you so that you don't consume it, so that this money is saved somewhere, so that by the time you reach
your
60,
future.
you can actually go home with a check of 1 million and above. Do you know majority of retirees, when they go to National Social Security Fund, you know how much they carry home? Not more than 200,000. Yet they've saved for
And
30
you've
years.
worked
Yes,
for all those years.
Yes, 200 shillings per month. What is that?
Yeah.
So now the only problem, why now I come in again, workers contribute this money, but the government is eating it.
Yeah, now that's
Yeah.
the
That's the
sad
problem.
bit.
The government is not investing it.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when National Social Security Fund was the place where most senior government officials were looting. They would conceive of a project which is costing 1 billion, but they'll do it for 5 billion. People will steal 4 billion from workers. You see, even this 200, that people are saving every month, if it was invested well, at the time you are 60, you'll get good return.
Yeah.
But the investment, so there's one thing to save, but with which institution? Which institution? Even this money market, people come to me and ask me, which is the best? Sometimes knowing the best is difficult, but there could be about 3. You say, wacha niweke hapo, chances are pesa yangu will get me good return, and this institution will not go
Down. Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Another thing he was saying.
We need to have him on Red Pill, talk
Yeah,
about
we
cooperatives and
will,
circle.
actually.
Yeah.
Another thing. People don't like to invest in education. Somebody gets 500,000. And then they want to ask you, what business do I get into? They're coming to ask you what business they want to get in. That means that they will not have done any digging.
No research.
They will not do any research. They will not know the risks.
And they want to earn 50,000 from the
And
business.
they want to be rich overnight. So I don't like answering that question of what do I do with this money. My easiest one is usually to tell people to save it either in
Eka
a
money
circle or in
market
money market.
ukijua.
But I people don't like to invest in education and know the market that you're getting into.
And especially financial
People don't want to pay. So
conversation.
that's where I was heading to. My people don't want to pay for education. Most of the work I've done in central Kenya and the eastern part of the Meru area, blah, blah, and then Nairobi here, and then Kisii. If you go, and then part of Rift Valley, when you go to those areas, there's a direct correlation between training that staff get, training that board directors get, and how they invest and the growth of their circles. There's a direct relation. You go to these areas that are down, kuna kazi yao ni kukula pesa. So I wrote this to Professor Nyong'o. Do you know Nyong'o never got this memo? It was
Ilipotelea
It was
katikati.
it was hijacked here.
The messenger alipotea.
Dr. Mike was telling me, I have worked with Professor Nyong'o. Why don't you use me so that you can get him,
directly.
so that you can use your knowledge to help your people? I've not gone that direction, but if there's one area that I really feel I've let down my people, it is that area. Not because I have the knowledge, I have helped people. And not even far, I come from Kisumu there, Hapa Kericho. There are circles that are doing so well, and I'm the one who started them. But you see, they were willing to learn. And even to date, when they have got a crisis, they call me to advise.
The way forward.
You call a circle manager in Luo Nyanza, if he picks you the call, it's the sound, but you will not come back to.
Confirm.
There's another one I wanted to do a conference for all the cooperative leaders in Luo Nyanza. as a hotel in Kisumu. Then the only thing I asked them is pay for my 1 day accommodation and my flight. Wakaniambia we can only buy a ticket for bus. A bus.
Goodness.
Nibebe training equipment yangu kwa bus because they don't want to pay for an air ticket.
And how much is the air ticket?
Yani hiyo ni kujipeleka juu.
From Nairobi to Nyanza to Kisumu.
Yes, and I'm going to train, and mark you, I'm not charging
You're
them
not
for
charging.
training them. For consultant, no. Just accommodation and traveling.
It's around 18,000 when it's not
Peak season.
In fact, if you book early, with 14,000 you can
To and
get a
fro.
return.
Imagine that's return.
Yeah. And then a hotel maybe about 6 or 7K half board.
One night.
So if they're not ready to pay for your
They're
flight,
not ready to-
they're not even ready to pay you.
Yes.
And then now also
Wow.
they will want you to stay in a hotel where you don't sleep the whole night because people are drinking and making noise.
There's a pub down there.
Yes. I want to go to a good hotel. I want to sleep. I want to wake up fresh because I know I have a job to do. Yeah. So that's my take. Even in Car West here, even in in this Ruiru area, there's a lot of money. People get money. Kidogo kidogo ujaza kibaba. If you go to a place like Canada or you go to Sweden, you go to any Scandinavian countries, 3/4 of hostels are owned by cooperatives. Even me when I was in Canada, I stayed in a hostel owned by a cooperative society. They save, they invest. And then there's honesty. There's good leadership. There's good governance. You are assured your money, it is safe. The least that can happen to it can earn 0 interest, but your money is safe. Not in Kenya. Not in Kenya.
We've not gotten there yet.
No.
I hope that you get to share this knowledge with people from the
From those
Nyanza
areas.
side. Yeah.
I really want to. In fact, what I really struggle for is to have a conference.
You're struggling
Where-
to have a conference where you're going to help
Educate people
Yes,
about keeping their
yes,
money safe.
Yes.
We are looking for these conferences for free.
Yes, because even in my village, people plant sugarcane, but there's no value.
people. Yeah.
When they get it, it goes into women, it goes into drinking, it goes into areas that do not help. And now because of dishonesty, you see when you get a loan based on your sugarcane, you're supposed to repay when the sugarcane is harvested. You know what Kenyans do? Now when it comes to harvesting, instead of delivering the cane in my name because I got a loan, I deliver it through you. So that the income comes to you, the circle, the bank will not get money from me.
Because I have a loan. They'll have to deduct.
Yeah, because now they'll have to deduct. So I divert.
Use someone else's name.
Yes.
Who is loan free.
Who is loan free. Then akishapata namgawanyia kidogo, then I get most of the. So before you know it, the circle is down.
Yeah.
Because the money has been given out but not recovered. There's a day I went to a certain circle in Chamelil, not very far from my village. Wow. And I was very inquisitive. Do you know the chairman had the audacity to ask me if I'm a member of that circle? Are you a member of this circle?
Oh.
I was
Because why are you asking questions?
I was asking these loans you are giving, which criteria are you using? Because the criteria I know seems not to be the one at play. It looks like you give money on friendly basis, not based on the economic, not based on their capacity to use and repay. Within 2 years, they closed doors. Are you a member of this circle? Wewe umekuja kusomesha. That is all you can do. Don't read so much into what we do.
Wow.
That time I was still working with Cooperative Bank and he threatened. He told me, if you continue in this line, we are going to transfer our account to another friendly bank. So because I want
I like to say we are our own worst enemy.
Yes.
We are our own worst enemy.
Yes.
Hey.
And you see, like in my place, I come from Mias. In Mumias, there was a lot of sugarcane. That place is very fertile. Right now, do you know there are people who are food is more expensive than in Nairobi?
I know.
It is more expensive. It's more expensive to live there and eat there than stay in Nairobi.
That's just sad, man. That's just sad. And then our president the other day said that sugarcane farming, he was in Kakamega, right? The other day, and he was saying next year there'll be huge bonuses for sugarcane. Let's see, because our government policies.
Yake ni kuongea, wacha ongea. Then people clap.
Hooray, yes, ndio. I know we are running out of time, but I wouldn't want you to leave our set without talking about the workplace. You said you were in Kerugoya?
I was in Kerugoya.
Kerugoya, training a bunch of university graduates.
Yes, we are newly employed.
Yes, and you, I know in church when you're the one leading the service and you're the deacon in charge, you really like talking to youth about certain issues, real life issues. When you were talking outside, you were saying you're passionate about work ethics. Talk to us about that. What is it that you've seen in the workplaces with employees that you don't like, that you'd really want to see a huge change? What makes a good employee? What makes a horrible employee? What makes you employable? What makes you unemployable?
You see, when we talk about work ethics, we are talking about values that somebody has towards work. And when you're talking about work ethics, we have got two types of things. We have got good work ethics, we've got bad work ethics. And for every employee, especially today, you are employed to generate either to generate revenue or to manage expenses. Because there are people who must bring the money. Then there are people who work at the back office who create environment that allows you people to go out and make money. So you are employed for bringing more money or come up with solutions that can make us produce more but use less. So how do you do this? We are talking about performance. And we're now talking about the current employer does not want to employ people who are jokers. So what do? They set targets. And these targets are not targets that you can achieve by walking like people who are in a wedding. These are targets that are stretched. These are targets that you must put in every effort, every energy. You must put your mind and body to it to achieve that stretched targets. So, through my entire life, when I worked in the government, work ethics in the government was horrible because there were no targets. Supervision was not well spelled out. People would come to work when they liked, they would absent themselves when they also liked. So, for me, the first important work, maybe before I got there, let me say this. Your good certificate will help you acquire the job. Your good certificate and the way you answer questions will help you to get a job. The question is, what is it that will help you to retain the job and grow in the job? It is positive work ethics. And one of them is time management. You must know that time is a factor of production. Time is a resource. Time is money. You must know, number one, during the 8 hours that I have, at what time do I produce most? You know, the 8 hours, kuna wakati you do your most. You per hour you produce at peak. And then there's a time you don't do much. You need to ask yourself, what time of the day do I give my all? Because that is when I'm very productive. Time management. Time management will allow you to do the second thing, another work ethic, proper planning. You need to plan your work in such a way that you don't fall into a crisis. When you plan your work, you will do your work in such a way that there's no stress, there's no anxiety. You will complete your assignments within the right time. The other one is, do not be a Mr. or a Miss Know-it-all. Be somebody who is willing and ready to learn from others, somebody who is ready and willing to share with others, because through sharing, you tap into your colleague's brain. You add the stock of your knowledge. It is better than being a lone ranger. Another work ethic is, do not be prone to coming to work late. If reporting time is 8, don't just be somebody who clocks in at 8 and clocks out at 5. Be somebody who comes early. Coming early means, you, like now, if you're supposed to clock in at 8, you can come at 7:50, so that the 10 minutes you refresh, you think about yourself, then ikifika 8, you are at your desk. Another good thing about work ethics is, plan for what you'll start with tomorrow. Si leo nimefanya kazi, si imefika 5, si I'm leaving. You need, before you leave your desk, you need to know, when I come back tomorrow, where do I start?
Okay.
It has been established, those people who go home without making sure that they know what they're coming to do, they waste about 1 hour figuring out where do I start with vitu kama hizo. And then absenteeism, giving lame excuses that leo niko na kichwa, leo mtoto ni mgonjwa, leo ni hii. This is very common among the young people today. They easily miss work on very flimsy reasons. There's a day, KBA, during a prize giving day, called a guy as the chief guest. And the guy said, and I hope the guys will not take it this one, but the guy said, given a choice, he'll give a job to a lady. Given a choice. And he was asked why. He said, he ran 6 chemists. The ladies have never let him down. If a lady calls to say, I am running late, or today I'm not coming to work because of it is genuine. Most young men, they behave like the job is theirs. So he was asking her. Now this young man calls me at 8, and I'm not coming. So who is going to open the chemist? So now I'm the owner, I'm the business owner. I have to leave everything I'm doing to go and open the chemist, so that when people come, they find somebody. Another good work ethic is, do not overcommit yourself with loans.
With loans?
Loans. Research has shown people who are heavily indebted, they think so much about the daily as opposed to thinking about work. So their productivity is lowered because of the level of madeni they have. I advise young people, live within your means. Live within your means. Another bad work ethics is kupick vitu ambazo sio zako. Most of the young people of today are they can easily pick things. Your employer. Wanaenda nayo. According to them, they are not stealing, but they actually
borrowing.
They actually borrow, but it is,
they will return.
But they never return.
Yes, but they say they will return. Nilijisaidia tu kidogo alafu nitarudisha.
Then another good work ethic is grooming. Perception is key in the eye of the customer. When I meet you, what hits me first? What hits me first is the way you are groomed. Present yourself, like now I was telling those young men, if you're going to talk to somebody about money, and you are dressed like somebody who needs the money. How do I entrust
How
you?
am I supposed to take your advice?
Yes. How would I mean, you look so scary. I mean, so and then another good work ethic is, especially those who are in marketing, when you are going to meet a customer, have a meeting with yourself before you meet the customer. Bring the customer into your mind. Like when you are going to meet me, I expected you guys to think, who is Donge? What questions can we ask him? Are there questions, if you ask him, he gets irritated? Get a small brief of who your next client is so that you get more value. And then I also tell people, if you're preparing, and this is a good work ethic, if you're preparing for a business meeting, also frame up questions that might come up. If ni tukisema hivi na tulize hivi, how do we answer? You come out as somebody very smart. You may not be very smart, but you know, when you prepare well, like I am not a very brilliant man, but when I'm going to train, I prepare so well. I take time. And by the time I'm leaving the podium, people are saying, there's a place where somebody stood up and asked the manager, where has this guy been all along? Because if you compare what you've been giving us and what we've gotten today, today it is like you talked to him about us before he came. They didn't talk to me. The team leader did not talk to me. I used my experience, and I also asked myself, now that I know, and normally when you call me, I ask you, who am I coming to train? Who are they? I want to have them in my mind, and then prepare my presentation with them in mind. With them in mind. Another work ethic, I need to mention this, especially among the young people. Avoid kutongozana at the place of work. But a lot of young people tell me, if we don't tongozana, well, how will we get married?
Not in your workplace.
You know, it is not illegal to date your colleague. But in terms of work environment, it squeezes the work environment. Like, let me just give an example. If you are dating this guy and you're working with this guy, when this guy comes to talk to you, you know, you will be asking yourself, how much laughter, how much joke? Can I even touch his shirt and say, wow, where did you buy this shirt when that guy is there? And research has also shown that when this guy comes to talk to you, this guy stops work.
Now he's observing.
He's observing.
The girl.
This lady never smiles with me like he does. I mean, what is all this? So, if you can avoid it, avoid it. If it is not possible, what most employers do, they transfer one of you to another branch, not to punish you, but to give you adequate time. Because, believe you me, the job place is another home away from home. But the job place is where 8 good hours your brain is actively engaged. When you go home, maybe 3 hours you're okay. 3 hours you're doing house chores, helping the kid with homework. Then you go to sleep. At 5 you're up. You're going to work. So you need a very healthy environment here. So ati ukitoka hapa unaenda kugomba. Somebody is going to ask you, mulikuwa mnaongea nini? Yeah. And then the other bad work ethic is mushene. Rumor-mongering, it hurts. It destroys the relationship between and among colleagues. So don't just kupanua mdomo, kuongea juu ya watu, and more so things you don't have evidence about or things that you know can hurt the person. The Bible is very clear. If I have something against you, I need to come to you direct. Talk to you. But most of the times, at the workplace, kuna watu who seem to know too much about you. They even know things you don't know about yourself, and they are all rumors. They destroy work environment.
They don't have enough work.
They don't have enough work, and that leads me to the other thing. If you want to progress at your place of work, don't just say, I'll just do the work I've been given. Finish the work you've been given. Go to your boss and ask him or her, is there additional work I can
do.
Eh,
Most workers don't do that.
They don't do that.
people
Yeah.
don't.
And
They don't
especially
do
the-
it. They don't do it for two reasons. Number one, they don't do it because they fear that maybe the boss could be thinking that ako kupatia enough work. The others don't do it because they think that when they go there, they may even be given more work,
Yeah.
and it will affect now their capacity, because some bosses also might also give you so much work if you've completed the assignment, and that affects you now. Tomorrow but one, you may not perform at peak. Yeah, so there needs to be adequate work. The other things I may not mention, but next time you call me,
We will.
we will
We
revisit.
definitely will. Mimi kwanza hapo kwa cooperative na SACCOs. Red pill. Red pill. We've already seen
We'll
it.
have a section on SACCOs.
And cooperatives. Yeah.
The money market funds and all those things.
Hakuna shida.
Okay. You've
Wow.
had it. You've had it from beyond the pulpit. This was an amazing
Amazing.
session. I mean, hiyo yote agricultural economics may take a lot of time, and to take around 10 minutes to talk about work ethics, which is something that this is what he trains. He trains people on how to be better employees
Good
and
thing
employers.
this is our show. We can have it.
We
can continue. We are not censored.
We are not
censored.
no one
Yeah.
said, but we will
But
have
another
him
time,
here. Yeah, we'll have him here again to talk about that. I know he has other things to do, but thank you so much for honoring our invite. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us. So please subscribe, share this with your friend, share whatever part of BTP Studios you like, whatever show that you we even have the singing one with Trevor, Steve, and Max.
Yes.
That's another one that will be premiering on Sunday. I mean, we have a lot in store for you. We also have the studio that is coming up. Probably by the time you watch this, we will be in our studios, episode 22, and the other many programs that we have will be in our new studios, and it is commercial, so talk to us again. So thank you for watching up to this point. Hope to see you on the next episode. Nashindaga nikisahau the next episode, but our director is here to remind me. So the next episode, see you there. Remember, God loves you and we love you. Thank you. Bye.